Hello and namaskar. This is episode 2, and today we are presenting our findings of Sanskrit AI so far. So, first of all, we have trained a stable diffusion model from Hugging Face using Sanskrit text and images, and we have used machine translation for the tagging translation or caption translation of images, and the results are pretty fascinating. You have the link, you can try it yourself. You will have to sign up with your Google ID, Gmail ID, and then you will get a free access where you can enter a prompt, and you can enter a prompt in any language that will get translated to Sanskrit, and Sanskrit will be passed to the inference server, and you will receive your images. Now there are few fascinating things, like it is trained on MS Coco dataset. Those of you know what is MS Coco, or you can Google search. It's a dataset which is like been there for last maybe one decade, where it has images, and it has no images of atoms, atomic structure or anything. But for the 16 validation prompts, there is one prompt for the structure of an atomic nucleus. And it is a fascinating thing is that it is able to predict nucleus as a group of some round objects. So it has only seen mangoes and fruits and all that. So it is creating that round structure with some organized images of fruits, and pretty fascinating. We will provide structured data of nucleus structure and all in the next iteration. But yeah, there are some pretty cool things, and that's the power. So let's start our today's episode of what is Sanskrit AI and why is it important. So first of all, Sanskrit AI is an effort to create AI capabilities in Sanskrit, right? And we are saying that you can use any language using a translator, or you can directly use Sanskrit as a medium of your interaction with the AI, right? And why is it important, right? And you might have heard of many of this actually. So first of all is Gyan, right? That the Gyan is the most important aspect of Sanskrit AI. The amount of knowledge which is there in Sanskrit is immense. And I can say this to some extent that it is the only language with knowledge. The rest of the languages have content. We infer them through our understanding using our mental models that cat means an animal with the fur of the feline category, right? Dog means an animal with nose like this and mouth like this and paws and tails like this, which belongs to a canine category, right? So this is how the knowledge comes. But in Sanskrit, these things are embedded in the alphabets of Sanskrit. If you know, it all started with Maheshwar Sutra, the 14 sutras which is said to come out from Shiva's Damru, right, at the beginning of the universe. And this may be a way of paraphrasing the source of creation, that this universe, we know that there are multiple universes. This universe started with a bang, and that bang could have been the 14 sutras or 14 sounds, right? And we'll explore more on this, because now we have the power of AI. We can delve in each detail, that what is creation, how the creation happened, using our language and the models we create. So Sanskrit alphabets have universal meanings. Means that if there is a word for a bird called khaga, right? Kha, ga, and visarg. Then the kha means sky. It is universally meant sky. In every place where you have kha, it will have some meaning of akash, sky, and the various synonyms of or antonyms of sky, depending on the usage. Ga means the action of going, one who goes to sky, right? So this is how Sanskrit is built. And you will be amazed that Sanskrit has over 100 billion words. Now, I posted this in the Hugging Face group, and somebody commented that, oh, this is because some weird thing, Proto-European language, Proto-Indian European language system. I said, dude, there was no Europe when Sanskrit was created. So forget what you are trying to put a wrapper around Sanskrit as your own and Aryan theory and all that BS and crap, right? Sanskrit is a pure language, right? Created in the land of Bharat Khanda and created by some higher form where every alphabet has a meaning, and the same meaning translates and carries to the words, and then the words and sentence and all those things, right? And that's why it is important to learn Sanskrit, because it is not just about the karma kand and puja. If you had the whole world internet database, right, in Sanskrit language, you would not have required a Google search, maybe some form of indexing, but then connecting all the knowledge sets would have been so easy naturally, using any form of graph representation of internet, the knowledge graph representation of internet. Currently it's not possible because the whole thing is in variety of languages which are inherently without meaning, and connecting them requires a lot of work. So Google has a mechanism called link based indexing, that whoever gets the highest number of link, they're popular, doesn't matter what the meaning is. So they trust in the value of links, and that's why you have a pretty weird internet, right? Now that's only possible in Sanskrit, and that's why to build this model we created 16 test prompts while we are training our Hugging Face diffuser. So first one is a white rose, which is like you can say a negative prompt. We want to see like how it keeps performing, and the rest 15 are Sanskrit prompts. I have put the meaning of there in English language as well, right? And the results are fascinating. So this is the 15th prompt, which is about, if you see here, an atom composed of nuclei particles, nabik kanau nirmita parmanu, right? And see, it is always like, here I am showing 2 images only, but I have shared this on my Twitter. There are n number of samples created, and in every sample it is always showing fruits somehow cobbled together in a bowl, in a jar. It is trying to convey a meaning, but it is like a child which has only limited number of words and actions and gestures, and trying to convey that this is what is meant by nuclei. And how does it know? Think about it. That's the power of Sanskrit. And maybe that's the reason why we try to reach God through the mantras of Sanskrit. But this is the reason why knowing Sanskrit and using Sanskrit can help us understand the universe, our world, our life goals, our emotions, philosophies much better, because then we are talking knowledge in the language of knowledge. And that's the power, right? So it is possible, and based on, like, I did not go in many other details, you can see it is able to understand many things which it has seen, which it has not, and it is with only 600 MB of text data and their corresponding MS Coco data sets, which is like 100,000 1.1 lakh images, right? And it is able to understand a lot of things, right? It is very intuitive, with micro and macro structures of the universe. So it understands from the atoms to the solar system to galaxies and many phenomena, because every word, so Sanskrit has two types of words, Sabdaroop and Dhaturoop, means that all the nouns, all the verbs, that's it. I mean, when I say that's it, it looks very simple, but of course you'll have to put your time to understand various forms of Sabdaroop and Dhaturoop, but that's really it. There is no further complication of this and that, which is there in other languages, because those languages were created top down and bottoms up, and in the middle, where somebody got an idea that, oh, this is missing, let's put a new rule to it. Whereas Sanskrit came in the complete form first of all, and then it had everything. It never needed a refinement, right? And some may call out some of the dilemmas and confusion which there is, but those are contextual. Those are not real dilemma of how to identify objects, and so we'll come to that in some episode as well, right? So you see, Sanskrit is very intuitive with micro and macro structures, right? Because it is made of true knowledge, gyan, right? Every other language or every other knowledge system starts with zero, right? That knowing nothing. Assume that we know nothing. And that's how the logic-based science in the modern, what we call modern science, right, is based on that. Assume that you know nothing, and then start questioning every object around you. Like here in the room, I have this or that object, and I question, what is the source of light? Why is the air temperature so? Why is it made of wood? Why is it made of metal? What is metal? What is wood? What is the meaning of being made? You start questioning like that. So you actually start like a toddler, right? Where you know nothing, you do dada and kind of try to understand the universe, and ultimately you reach somewhere, because you are seeker, and seeker always finds the knowledge, right? But Sanskrit starts with the concept of infinity. You start with the assumption of Ananta, Brahmand, Ananta Brahma, Ananta Vishnu, anything, right? And with the concept of Anant is like abundance. You start with the concept of abundance, that you know everything, everything is known, there is nothing like hidden from you, right? It is right in front of you, just have to open your eyes, and everything is within your reach, right? That's the difference. Like everything is packed in those 14 sutras and the knowledge grammar and all that number of billions of words, and now you just have to understand this, and that's why meditation alone can give you the gyan. So the initial earlier form of learning was that your gurus were preaching you a few concepts using the sloka, and then you have to meditate, think of upon that as with your right philosophical mindset, and you will get the knowledge, right? That's how many great mathematicians used to get the dreams or hallucination or whatever, right, about the form of infinity series or various kind of mathematical series, and they used to get the answer, because these Sanskrit mantra or proses have the complete meaning, and they represent a formula which is the universal truth of the universe. If you do that in any other language, it will be only contextually correct and not fully correct, right? Whereas Sanskrit will always be correct in this universe, because it is made on those 14 sutras of this universe. So what this is what we have done so far. And the future course of action for us in Sanskrit AI is that we'll enhance the model, we'll bring in more data, more GPUs. Thanks to Microsoft and Google for sponsoring us so far, right? We'll bring in more experts. We'll have more domain-specific models on astronomy, physics, and chemistry, and many more. We are planning robotics also, so that industrial computers and robotics can be designed in Sanskrit with more accuracy and more control, right? Sanskrit is a universe, a window to the universe, because it is the universal language. And that's why learning it is important. It is not just important to know Gayatri Mantra and Sankalpa Mantra. You should know Sanskrit for being used in daily life. And in the current world, a lot of our problems is because of language, right? You think about it, a country divided by 33 official languages, and if I'm not wrong, maybe, and many other non-official local dialect languages. How divided that can be? And then think of the whole world. We are divided because we are using inefficient languages. Like even this form of communication is inefficient, but this is the only way. One day, all of us, I hope that in my lifetime we mature to the state of all of us talking in Sanskrit. And I remember there is a work by Bhartrihari where he said that all kings somewhere in the, I mean, maybe near about the first millennium BC, all kings of India gathered for a conference kind of a thing, and all were speaking in Sanskrit or their local languages, and everybody was able to understand everybody else. And that was fascinating. Like that is a proof that in our current times everything is correct. No language is less, no language is more, every language is complete, just that we're missing the mother language. And when we find it, we'll be complete, right? Using the language alone, learning the language alone, we'll be able to learn art, kala, Sanskriti, Vigyan, and Paramatma. Right? Currently, the focus is mostly on understanding Paramatman through language, because that what has survived the most. Right? The rest all has either vanished or diminished. Right? So our focus will be that we regenerate the language and the heritage using these prompts, using these generative AIs in Sanskrit, right? And that the current work is very fascinating. It has shown good amount of progress and will continue that direction. This is what I was talking about. The concept of Sanskrit, the language, contains everything, and that's the distinction how the East and West thinks. East, our philosophy starts with infinity. We know everything, just that we have to reach there, right? Whereas West starts with zero. We know nothing. Then you start questioning, and that's the key difference why we do certain things in modern science, which is like not right, like our toothpaste. For last at least in I'm 40 years old, and in my 40 years I've seen the same brand of toothpaste showing a new ad every 2 years. Oh, this is better, means that the previous one was not. They never say it, right? And it is everywhere in the medical system, in the education system, that we did not know before, right? You know, the discovery of electrons happened like it is particle, got a Nobel. Again, it is vehicles, again a Nobel Prize. What is this? Means that wherever you are, you cannot be sure that this is the right knowledge. You always question, so your life becomes full of chaos, right? Whereas when you start with infinity, you know that the whole cannot be known in one life, or maybe some people have, but for more lesser beings, more common beings, it might not be known in one life, but you know it is there, right? You just have to open the eyes, understand galaxies and atoms and biology and chemistry of everything. That's the key difference, and it brings peace, because when you know that it is there, right? And so only thing is that, do you want to know the whole thing in this direction or that direction? So you choose a direction. Otherwise, when you think that you know nothing and then you start pursuing, you go into a kind of a state of ultimate frustration of life, because then you cannot be sure that whatever you know is right or not. That's great philosophy, right? So where to start? You can start by reading the scriptures, um, and as always, learning starts with a guru. Find a guru, right? Who can give you the metaphysical knowledge, the knowledge higher sense, because knowing infinity is a higher sense, right? Infinity is not modern science. In terms of modern science, it is not a physical form, it is an abstract. So to you have to start from that level of abstract, understand infinity. Somebody can initiate you, right? And see, the knowledge in Sanskrit comes in a form which is like our ancient tradition and culture of diksha and all that. So don't start kind of questioning that why it is like this and why it is not like West. I live in America. I see the culture here. I've seen it all over the world, right? And maybe when I see Indian kids, they always have an awe about the West. That it's something from the moon and the stars. No, it is not. It is from the zero, and they are still revolving around zero. Because of the cold weather, they wear more clothes and maybe make it more shiny because of use of chemicals, which is not allowed in our culture, and that's why it may not look shiny and may not be so tight, because right, because the weather and the culture and the acceptance of using toxic things, right? In West, toxicity is acceptable, right? And then you fight it out. That's the thing. So start with finding a guru who can initiate you, right? I have my guru, Swami Nikleshwaranand ji, and you can find your guru. I have put pictures of three sons of my Gurudev, whom I call my Gurudev now, because my Guruji has left the earth, and but I still get the guidance from him. And then you have Sadguru, you have Dhirendra Shastri Ji Maharaj, right? And there are numerous gurus. India is full of good gurus, and there are thousands of good gurus and maybe one or two pakhandis and all that. And that is everywhere. In the West also, you have like fake colleges and fake professors, and it's everywhere. Wherever there is good, you will have flies and cheaties coming in, right? Ants and flies. So it is natural thing. Wherever there is gold, you will have thieves coming in. So try to find the gold, forget about the thieves and all. So find your guru, right? And or just start learning. You don't have to find it today. The desire will get you attracted to the right guru. So have the desire of knowledge. And yeah, that's it for today. Welcome to Sanskrit AI. The link for trying out the stable diffusion model is in the bio as well as in the description. Click on it, sign up with Google. It's free, and try it out, right? Depending on the load, it might be slow. We are working to enhance the servers. We are working on grants. This thing is currently not making money, but I have other ventures which are making money. So keep supporting us. Show us your appreciation by sending your feedback and messages on Twitter or on LinkedIn or on Threads, right? Thank you. Namaskar.